Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Community Spotlight. Today, we have a really exciting discussion with an ally of the LGBTQ plus community. She's an incredible entrepreneur who started her own company that's making waves in the nonprofit and fundraising world. Maria Underwood joins us today, and she's the founder of Fundraise, a tool that is revolutionizing how you can support and empower nonprofits. Maria, thank you so much for joining us.
So glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. In honor of Women's History Month, all month long, Worthy Mentoring is celebrating women who are using their platform and talents to make the world a better place. Every year, as we know, March is designated Women's History Month by presidential proclamation. The month is set aside to recognize and honor women's contributions in American history. For some quick background for those who are curious, this nationally recognized month-long celebration actually began as Women's History Week in 1980, when President Carter designated the week of March 8th as National Women's History Week. Immediately after this 1980 proclamation, national leaders, organizations, and activists began petitioning Congress and the president to extend this celebration to a month-long honoring of women's contributions throughout our history. Finally, in 1987, this movement gained some traction, and Women's History Month has been proclaimed and honored every year since. So that's some quick background. We are really excited to be joined by Maria Underwood, again, a woman who is making waves and quite honestly, making the world a better place. Maria, thank you again. And can you just give us a little bit of background on yourself and this tool you created, Fundraise?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for having me. I love what y'all are doing too. So we need to talk about both of them today. But Fundraise is a social impact tool that helps you channel your anger into action when you're reading the news. So I got to the point where I was reading news all the time, really wanting to stay informed about what was going on. But it really was frustrating and hard for me to do that in a way that was good for my mental health, where I could still be engaged. There was so much coming at you all the time. So I found myself finding new causes every day I wanted to support. I would research nonprofits, try to figure out which ones were reputable, which ones weren't just popping up, and were taking my money. And I thought there had to be a tool that would automate that for me somewhere out there. And there was not. So Fundraise is out there now. So right now it's a Chrome extension that you can download for free in the Chrome store. So what it will do is you add it to your browser. If you're reading on anything on a national news site, kind of sits at the corner up there. If you read something that makes you want to take action, you click the icon and it suggests nonprofits for you to donate to based on the article that you're reading. And we have an app in development now as well. So it'll be a full kind of platform. So you can fundraise at your desk or on the go if you're listening to a podcast, walking to work, anything like that.
That's so exciting. And, I know I read up on your background and obviously we've been friends for quite some time. You've got, gosh, if not a decade, almost a decade of just history of working with nonprofits throughout your career. This is just wonderful to hear you using that passion, your motivation, and your skills to make giving to those areas and those nonprofits that are close to your heart and just making it easier to empower them. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, thanks. I found too that when national disasters happen, people kind of get to the top nonprofits that you know about, the Red Cross, ACLU, you don't really know what's happening in their local areas. And if you want to make an impact right away, you're maybe not going to take that time to research and Google which are the nonprofits that are best supported for this. So Fundraise is also designed to help highlight nonprofits that are maybe smaller, maybe not the ones that you think about, to help you learn more about other people doing good in the world and help supporting them too.
That's fantastic. Well, as an entrepreneur myself and creating this nonprofit, Worthy Mentoring, we are certainly a startup tech nonprofit and getting our name out there, growing our brand, growing our message. So it's great to hear of tools like yours where you're reading an article about LGBTQ issues and we're listed among the many others that are out there and you can learn about us. And that's really fantastic. Maria, I know, again, you've had a very steady career in nonprofits. You've done some incredible work and work with some really amazing institutions. What made you want to leave that and really, become an entrepreneur at its core and start your own company?
It's a great question. I don't have a great answer for it because some days I don't know quite yet. I love working in the nonprofit space. I've been a fundraiser most of my life. So building relationships with people, particularly around causes they care about, has just been really exciting. Getting to know people, why they care, how I can help them care more. It's been a really great journey for me, and I'm still doing consulting on the side with fundraising. Fundraise for me became something that I said would never be full time. And I said that for a while. And then about a month later, I got an opportunity to be in an accelerator program that had to be full time. And so the decision was a little forced on me, but I think it was a good thing. I don't know that I would have taken that risk if it hadn't been.
Right.
But yeah, like, but having the time to really sit down and focus on it has been important, because I was doing it as my 8 p.m. to midnight job, which I'm sure that you understand as a startup founder. And so being able to focus on it more intentionally has been helpful. And now it's not just one nonprofit that I'm able to help. It's any and all of them. And so helping people find ways to get engaged as nonprofit people, and donors who maybe weren't in the past, has also just been really rewarding.
That's amazing. Well, look, congratulations, as someone who really does understand the toll it takes to create a new company and to have this passion project and to take it from idea to concept to most viable, an MVP, and then really put it out there as an application and a tool. It's just wonderful to see all your success and to see you join these cohorts and these accelerator programs. So really congratulations on that.
Well, I will say, when you started Worthy Mentoring, back however long ago that's been, since we were in DC together, seeing you start that and dive into it, I was kicking around the idea of fundraising in my head at that point already. And kind of watching you walk down that path, even, as I've moved back to Alabama, watching your growth and success has been helpful and positive for me to kind of be like, okay, he can do this. Like, maybe
That's awesome. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
There are many days you feel isolated, and we'll hit on those topics shortly. So it's great to hear that, we have a community of people that just support one another. So just thank you for that. I love the name. First of all, when you create a concept in a company, your brand and how you present yourself is everything at first. Everything. It's what drives people to you. It inspires questions where people get curious. Well, that's interesting. What is that all about? Like, I want to learn more about that. Can you explain, how did you come up with this name Fundraise and sort of the impetus behind it?
Yeah, it came to me, I will say, without sounding like prophetic. I don't know why. I think because I'm in the fundraising world and I go to fundraising conferences, and you see companies like Fundraise and Fundraise, like it just, you see on that word all the time. And I feel like anger is how I was feeling at the time back in 2016 when I wanted to start this. And so it just, as I was kind of ideating, that name came. I will say people love the name more than, like, that's what people take to. But I didn't want the brand to be an angry brand. And that was really important for me, because the problem is that we feel the rage and the anger, but that's not what I want the solution to be. So our colors are not like red and black. I tried to stay branding away from things that made it feel so strong, because you can also rage for fun. Like, one day when I have all the money to spend on a big party, I will throw a fundraiser and everyone will come.
That's amazing. I love it so much. I love it so much.
So I focus a lot too on like mental health and how we are angry. We may be like raging about something that's going on, but Fundraise is a tool that kind of helps you like take the air out of the balloon a little bit at that stress. Like, we can't solve the bad things going on in the world, but we can give you a way to be a little less stressed about it. So it has been a little bit intentional to walk down, to have the word rage in it, and then kind of walk back from it.
I love it. And your tagline and your slogan, "Don't get mad, get giving." It's great. So look, kudos to you. That's so much work in and of itself. So I'm just so impressed with how you've pivoted in that direction. It's fantastic.
It's under trademark now, so nobody else can use it.
We
like,
love
if
it.
nothing else, I'll have the name.
I love it. I love it.
All else fails.
Oh my gosh, I'll be throwing fundraisers everywhere. I'm obsessed. I love it. I love it.
That'd be great.
Look, I know you are in the social good and the social impact space with Fundraise. What was your motivation there? Because it is not an easy space to be involved in. It's not a huge for-profit space. It's not very lucrative. It's not an area people go to where, most entrepreneurs, I want to create this product. I want people to buy it. I want to have sales. I want to have profits. I want to do X, Y, and Z. And you're different. You're in the social good. You're in the social impact space. So explain to me why.
Yeah, it makes me not a great entrepreneur sometimes. To remember to have a business plan that makes money. So for anyone who's wondering, Fundraise takes 2% off every transaction on the platform. But the Stripe fee, so I use Stripe as a payment processor, and that is put on the donor. So 98% of what you give through our platform goes to the nonprofit, which is unique for any online giving platform. It's really great margins for the nonprofit. I think because I created this as a need of something I wanted for myself first, I wasn't focused on, I never set out to start a business. I set out to solve a problem that I and a lot of my friends had. I have had to back my way into making sure that it comes into a business. But just like you said, it's tough in the startup world, and you've probably experienced this too, of looking for funders who are interested in social impact projects, because that return on investment isn't there as quickly.
Yeah.
I'm working on other strategies, obviously, to make that happen, but you have to find funders who are okay with that being a little more slow of a return, or the impact being important. And so it's not just finding people who'll give you money, people who are the right fit for you. I've had some people respond and say, like, this is a passion project, or like, dude, this is your hobby, this isn't a business. And then other people are like, this is amazing, we can see the investment this will make in the world. And so the difference in those feedbacks has just been, some people just don't get it, and that's fine. I'm just not their person.
No,
It doesn't feel any better.
it doesn't necessarily make it easier, but it does allow you to grow,
Yeah.
and that is something that I've experienced, if not daily, weekly, with Growing Worthy Mentoring. And it's funny the way you put it, because what you just said was, we knew there was a problem, so we set about solving a problem. And then you went, oh gosh, now I have to make this a sustainable company, because nothing can just exist without having some sort of business plan and a strategy and a strategic decision-making process. So it's so funny, because I'm sitting here nodding my head. We're a nonprofit. I know you are operating in the for-profit space, but it's the exact same. You see a problem, you want to solve it, and then both you and I were like, oh no, like now comes the really difficult part. I have to keep this thing afloat. But that's so fantastic. And what you described as the margins that Fundraise takes on each donation, that makes so much sense to me, because honestly, for these nonprofits that don't get that much exposure, this is free marketing.
Right.
I don't even have to know you exist and you're marketing me. How cool is that? Like, how fantastic is that for nonprofits who are small, getting their names out there and really trying to amplify their voice and their impact? You're doing it. And someone reading a news article can just immediately see you, and their local community has options of nonprofits nationally, options for nonprofits. And so again, just this fantastic work.
Yeah, I would say also on the social impact space, and again, something you probably experience is you're trying to bring a new product to market that people have to trust. And you're dealing with people having to trust you as a company and as a platform, and you as a founder. I'm dealing with news and donations. Like, people don't trust a lot of those things. And so having to also be intentional about building a product and a company that people will trust you, that it's actually doing the good that you say you're going to do, is a challenge in and of itself.
No, it absolutely is. But seeing the work you've laid into this and how intentional you've been, you've joined these accelerator programs, you were surrounding yourself with expert industry professionals. So I have all the confidence in the world in you. I really, really do. And part of being an entrepreneur, and really that correlates to everything we've talked about, is both the mental and the physical toll it can take on you. Having been the founder of Worthy Mentoring, a co-founder and CEO for quite some time now, it's really isolating at times. You're building this product and you're alone for a lot of it. You're making, strategic decisions. You're doing the best you possibly can, but you get burnout, you have imposter syndrome, you get a little bit of negative feedback from some stakeholders, and it can be pretty overwhelming. And this is, having talked to other founders like you, it's really, really common to experience these. So for those folks listening, what advice do you have if you're starting a new company or a new idea to just take care of yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it is sometimes by the hour, a different frustration, wanting to pull the plug on it completely. I even Tuesday of this week, I got an email from someone saying that it was a passion project, not a viable business. And then later that afternoon, I got an email from someone saying they wanted to learn more, and I'm moving through the next round of a funding process. So it just, I mean, the ups and downs that you can get yourself in, I think reminding yourself in the funder space that you may not be the fit for everyone, and that's okay. I think as a fundraiser myself in the nonprofit space, I'm used to hearing no. So it never feels better, but you understand that those happen. But and what you were talking about, kind of the mental fatigue of having to make all these decisions on your own, and knowing that if something goes wrong, there's literally no one to blame but yourself.
Right, right.
Can be tough. Some days it's a mental challenge. Some days it's no one wants this, so why am I doing it? If there's a day of slow signups or something like that, and it's having to continue to pivot and solve those problems. For me, exercise or just like being outside and moving is a way that I will have to step away from things for a minute. I've had to intentionally be like, I don't need to solve this problem tonight, and I can't, let me put it down. Having people around you that are supportive, who
Yeah.
will say, even if they don't get it, because especially in the tech startup world, not everyone has to understand it, but someone who will sit there and say, it's totally fine to be frustrating. Here is a tub of ice cream, eat it on the couch and start again tomorrow. That influence in your life. And then honestly, for me, like I find a lot of importance on mental health and therapy. I finally found a new therapist in the past year, which has been great for me. And just talking through that with someone else. And with imposter syndrome, I think the most important thing to realize is that you can only have imposter syndrome if you are already doing the thing that you feel like you're an imposter doing. So
Okay. All right.
kind of negates it. Like if I feel like an imposter as a tech founder all the time, but I also am a tech founder. So I try to remind myself that like you're doing it, like you may not be the best at it yet. It makes me think of, I used to when I would go to art museums with my dad. I'd be like, I can make that. You know, if you look at like a red painting with a dot, you're like, I could do that. And he looks at me and says, but you didn't. And that's kind of how I feel about being like, but I'm the one doing it. So I guess that means I'm doing it.
That is, you're so right on so many different levels. And, you said a lot of things quickly there, but there really
Sorry,
are.
I talk fast. It's part of my
No, I'm saying like it was profound, because for me, hearing you say these things is really therapeutic, because hearing you have similar struggles, hearing you have those days where things aren't going right and you're unsure about the trajectory of the organization, you're losing confidence. I mean, it's what every founder has, because you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. All of us are not going to, create something that's a $1 billion idea, a unicorn immediately. It's just not going to happen. You're going to have those rough days, but like you said, taking care of your physical health, exercising, surrounding yourself with other people, having this interview with you right now is therapeutic for me. Like being able to just to learn about, the emotional being of yourself as you go through these decisions. And it's just nice. It's nice to have this sense of community. And I hope that people listening to this and watching understand that you're not alone. You shouldn't feel isolated. And one of the things that we provide through Worthy Mentoring are mentors. And so that's a really easy way for you to stay connected to people who are going through challenges and difficult times, like you are in the LGBTQ community specifically. But no, Maria, just thank you for sharing that, because I know that is a little bit vulnerable to talk about some of these things.
Yeah, I think just what you said in the platform that you've created yourself too, like as a solo founder, for me, it lives or dies by me. And that's so hard. And I don't want to lose that control sometimes, but it's important to. And so being able to recognize that there are some things I need to reach out for, I need to find someone else who can be a guide. I need to have grace for myself when I don't do it well.
Yeah.
I think finding, if no matter where you are in life, not even about a startup company, but whatever you're going through, like finding someone you can connect with to help you share that a little bit and grow with is so important. And that speaks a lot to what you're doing with Worthy Mentoring as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I echo that entirely for Fundraise. So that is absolutely true. Well, Maria, I know that there are definitely going to be some folks who are watching this and listening to it who have had an idea. They've had a tool that they wanted to create that makes the world a better place. They've had an idea for a company. They've had a passion project. Again, I know we've talked about considering calling something a passion project, but look, what
Yeah.
starts off as a passion project grows into a company, grows into a corporation of businesses and stakeholders and people. So, don't knock that. If you've got something that you think is a great idea and you want to build it, you should absolutely do that. But to that end, what advice might you have as an entrepreneur and someone that's really getting into the thick of all the fun and exciting things about growing a business?
Yeah. So my first piece of advice would be just to start. Like, don't drag your feet on it. I had this original idea back in 2016, and if I had acted more quickly, I think we were in a moment in 2016 where, in hindsight, 2020, obviously, but I feel like this could have really been a tool that could have taken off. I don't know that I had the resources or the time or kind of the headspace around it at the time. So not saying I would kind of change many things, but I waited to start. I feel like I drug my feet because I wasn't sure and all this. And there's a difference between doing your research and your due diligence and then just kind of stopping yourself. So start, talk to people, and then if you're already getting into it and you're kind of in those beginning phases, the amount of advice that comes to you as a founder
Yeah.
is vast. And I'm a non-technical founder, meaning I don't know a thing about technology, and I have a technology company.
Yeah.
So I've learned a lot. I've had to ask a lot of questions, and I've had to get advice from a lot of people, and they've all given me different things. And so at the end of the day, like I said earlier, it lives and dies by me. So like, trust your gut, take all the advice, synthesize it, and then like you as the founder, you trust your gut and go forward. And if it's wrong, it's wrong, and you can pivot. But I think you can get lost in advice very easily. And I've been overwhelmed, kind of paralysis by analysis of like, what do I do? That is really tough for me. So just trusting my original intent and mission and gut has been, I think, successful so far.
I would agree. I would agree. No, I think, hearing you say that just reminds me of that same just statement. If you've got an idea, something that you think is going to make the world a better place, something that our society needs, something that you think is going to make the world just better, period, just go for it, because you're absolutely right. There are so many communities that we've joined with Worthy Mentoring of industry experts, professionals, my own mentors, people who just care that you succeed. And it's overwhelming in a positive way too, because you join, like, I know you're in this accelerator program, which I know hearing from you has been a really, really fantastic opportunity. You kind of get in these spaces and so many people just want you to succeed. And it really does help you get through those tough times when you do get those phone calls or those emails where they tell you they don't believe in it as much as you do. But then you go back to these communities and these groups. And, I've been on calls this week where people just believe in me. And it's empowering, it's terrifying, but it just shows you that if you have an idea and it doesn't exist, there are resources out there and there are individuals out there who can help you make it a reality. And it's just nice hearing you say that too.
Yeah. I love that you said it's like scary and exciting that somebody believes in you, because I feel that so strongly. I'm like, but if I fail, like, don't believe in me too much. I want to walk, but I think that's just, that's like that imposter syndrome creeping in, or kind of being shocked. I think that you did it. I think it's also interesting to be a young founder and someone who's doing it kind of like you are as well, with off the side of your desk and like taking that risk, because you lose nights, you lose weekends, you lose dinners with friends, you lose a lot to stay at home and work on something that you're building because you believe in it. And I think when you're talking about it being isolating earlier, that's part of it. Like, you've got to have people around you who aren't saying, stay out for another drink with us when you need to go home and finish your pitch deck. Because then the next day you've got to get up and go to your day job that actually pays your bills.
Yeah. And look, it's like you said earlier, it's you driving an organization. If you don't do it, it doesn't get done. And, there's nothing more debilitating than not feeling like you're reaching your full potential. So absolutely correct. Well, Maria, as we continue Women's History Month, congratulations. You are truly making the world a better place. You are a change maker, and I am really proud of you and your success. And I'm really just happy to have gotten to know you and befriend you. So thank you so very much.
Yes, thank you. And I was not lying when I said that you starting Worthy Mentoring was a catalyst for me to start Fundraise. So circling back to that, because you need to know that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, for everyone joining us and tuning in, if you would like to download Fundrage, it is a Chrome extension, gofundrage.com, right?
Mhm.
So
Yep.
gofundrage.com, fundrage.com. You can download the Chrome extension. It tells you all about how to use it, and you can stop getting mad and you can get giving. I feel like I'm a spokesperson for you. So
I love it. I appreciate
feel free
it.
to utilize that whenever you need to. But Maria, genuinely, thank you so much for joining us. And I look forward to your continued success.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.